Victor, what happened surprised Alice to see her man so gloomy. Usually, he always came with a smile and brought a bouquet of 3 roses. I was in your hospital. It turned out that there had never been such a doctor there, and all your documents were fake. Why did you lie to me? Alice did not expect this at all. She planned everything so carefully that it seemed that a mosquito could not undermine her nose. She and Victor have been together for 4 years, 3 of whom practically lived like a family. But nothing changes. So she decided to take matters into her own hands. Yes, I wanted to tie you to myself with a child. All because I love you very much. Alice was so upset that she could not hold back her tears. Victor, I can't live without you. That's why in the evenings they party in clubs with men. What men? Where do you come to such conclusions? They are Yulia's friends. I have nothing with them. The apartment is paid for a month in advance. Now it's up to you to decide. How do you want to live? I'm leaving. I'm fed up with everything. I'll pick up my things tomorrow. Victor left, without even closing the door behind him. Alice knew it was the end. The man would never come back to her. She would have to forget about the comfortable life she had become accustomed to. Alice got a job in an office right after university. Slender and graceful, she attracted many men. The girl was proud of her beauty and that she drew the attention of the stronger sex. Victor Evgenievich wasn't a hater. When Alice opened the door to his office, he stood with his mouth open. Alice knew that she was guaranteed a job in this office. He took her to the HR department and ordered that she be registered in 1 day. So Alice became the jewel of the company. After all, Victor Evgenievich took her with him to all the receptions and meetings. After some time, Alice suggested to Victor, "Seriously, I think I should quit my job. It's hard to combine meetings, receptions, and work in the office. I don't have time to get myself together in just a couple of hours." Victor agreed without objection. He knew that since Alice came to his company, there was no end of clients. But the fairy tale was over. However, Alice was not going to give up. She knew where Sergei's mother lived. They went there several times. But only Victor went up to the floor. And Alice was waiting for him in the car. The girl did not doubt that a married man would not risk his relationship with his mother. She went to a woman from whom she did not expect support but intended to sow doubt in her frivolous life. A serious man would not tolerate a mistress nearby. A well-groomed woman, looking younger than her years, opened the door. "Are you Sergei's mother?" Alice asked. "Yes, Mom, and who are you?" The woman answered without inviting the guest in. "I'm your son's friend." "I think it's time for us to talk," Alice said, heading into the room. "Friend, why did you come? What do you want from me?" Alice prepared herself for a long conversation. "You must understand me. I love your son and will do everything to be with him. I know that he loves me too much, but he cannot admit it. He constantly looks back at his family. I understand that children are a burden. But as an honest person, he is afraid to leave them. So you want to destroy a family in which there are minor children? No. The family is long gone, and only obligations remain. And the children will always be his children. He will help them. And on weekends we will take them to our place. Why did you come? Do you want me to help you divorce your son?" Valentina Grigorievna was furious at the stranger's impudence. "My daughter-in-law is a wonderful mother, wife, and housewife. Go away. Or I will call Victor." When I mention her husband, Valentina Grigorievna grabbed the phone. But Alice was even more afraid of the police and quickly left the apartment without saying what she had planned. She had already made arrangements with a doctor who would confirm her pregnancy for money. But Alice was sure that she would get Sergei at any cost. Alice was standing at the bus stop and waiting for a taxi. Suddenly Victor's car stopped following her and he ordered her to get in quickly since stopping was prohibited. Alice understood that Valentina Grigorievna would tell her son about her visit, but she did not expect him to react so quickly. Victor usually did not drop his business and did not rush at the first call of a woman. "Why are you asking for trouble? Do you want me to destroy you? You will make sure that no company in the city will hire you. You will have to go back to your remote corner," Victor said. Seeing the scan, Alice took it out of her bag and showed it to Victor. He stopped the car. Again with the old. "Money and privileges, you will still need them. Now get out," said Victor and tried to push Irina out of the car. She always felt like a winner because she believed that the battle was not over yet. There are social networks where she posts joint photos with Victor. Let him know that he must be responsible for his actions. Alice will make sure that his wife leaves Sergei herself, even if he doesn't return to her. She would like to get on their nerves. She came up with a plan of action, and it will not be difficult to implement. Already that evening, more than 10 photos appeared on the internet, since Sergei's wife did not work and only took care of the children and the house. She often goes on social networks, opens social networks, and sees a whole album with photos of her husband and another woman. Not just anywhere, but in expensive restaurants. This is why Victor complained that sales had fallen, and they had to tighten their belts until he found new clients. Irina was so disgusted by all this that she immediately closed her laptop. She never raised her voice to the children, but now she lost her temper with them even over every little thing. "Is it that hard to put your shoes back in place? How much longer must I be your servant?" The children looked at each other in surprise and hid in their room. "You can warm up the food yourself." This had never happened to their mother before, but they did not dare object. "You can do your homework yourself. I am not your tutor." Irina understood that the children were not to blame for anything, but she could not calm down. Victor came home late and asked from the doorway why no one was greeting me. "Where is my beloved wife? How are my children?" Ira reluctantly got up from the sofa and silently closed the table, gritting her teeth. At that moment, she was ready to tear her husband apart, but she realized that she could not cope with him. Usually, Irina sat opposite Victor and told him what was new with the children. Then he complained that his affairs were not going as well as he would like. Victor realized that something had happened in the family. He abruptly pushed the plates away and went into the room where his wife was sitting on the sofa, covering her face with her hands. "What happened today? Why did it change?" "I didn't do anything bad," Victor said. "You're telling me that the entire internet is full of your photos with another woman?" Irina answered. "Ira, don't play dumb with me. What other mistress?" Victor was indignant. "That's what I wanted to ask you," Irina said. Victor didn't make excuses to his wife. He simply said that he had things to do and left. He went to Alice, who had the keys to the old apartment. "Is this what you're doing?" Victor asked. "What does it have to do with me?" "I didn't drag you into my bed by force," Alice answered. "Just don't blame me for starting all this later," Victor warned. He had a plan on how to solve this problem. He asked his friend, who worked as an operative, for help. Victor made an appointment with his friend Dmitri at lunchtime. "Why did such a king need me all of a sudden? You always solve all your problems yourself. Or are you a tough nut to crack? They didn't split us at all." Dmitri asked. "Dima, here's the deal. We need your help. There's a lady who needs to be put behind the bars. She's gotten too out of hand." "She crossed all the lines," Victor answered. "What makes you think I'm helping you?" Dmitri asked. Victor realized that he and Dima had always been enemies at school. They fought for the top spot in the class. Of course, Victor was winning because his family was better off than Dimitri's. His parents were simple workers, and the guy achieved everything in life on his own. Unlike Dimitri's family, Victor's family did not hesitate to bribe teachers and the school principal for high grades. Victor's father generously gave them gifts, providing his son with an advantage in the certificate. Having met Victor, Dmitri ironically remarked, "Don't think that all this is for nothing." Knowing the modest salaries of the operatives, Victor grinned and let Dmitri go. The operatives have particularly sophisticated techniques in their arsenal when there is not enough evidence to detain a repeat offender. Dmitri knew such methods. But he did not say a word to Victor about that mysterious woman who had offended him in some way. Returning home, Dmitri met the usual cold attitude of his wife and a delicious dinner of pasta without sauce. It was clear to Dmitri that his children would be hungry, especially Sasha, who could not stand pasta. Masha could eat them only by piercing them with sauce. Relations in Dmitri's family remained strained. His wife did not speak to him, and the children felt lonely and uncomfortable. Dmitri realized that he had to find a way to improve the relationship and provide a decent standard of living for his family. Therefore, Victor's proposal should be considered. Lost in his thoughts, Dmitri is focused on developing a plan of revenge against Alice, the former lover of his friend Victor. According to Victor, Alice spent a lot of time in a nightclub, deciding to use this information. Dmitri went on social networks and found her photo. Looking at it, he remembered how they once knew each other. She still tried to flirt with him but rejected him when she learned about his modest income. Hatred for Alice flared up at him, and he decided to teach her a lesson. Entering the club, he discreetly slipped white powder into her purse. Soon, police officers approached Alice's table, discovering that she had also been carrying a prohibited substance. Thus, Alice was under arrest. Victor managed to hire a state lawyer, and as a result, Alice was sentenced to 3 years of correctional labor. This event showed her that it is not worth entering into conflict with those who have influence and money. This incident affected Victor's attitude towards his family. He became more careful in communicating with women, fearing possible consequences. And Irina, being completely dependent on her husband, was forced to forgive him. To maintain stability in the family,